fairy tales, monsters, creatures, everything which is embraced in Slavic legends. Today we are going to the realm of Slavic legends, typically Polish but old-fashioned Polish. Today with me there is Jakub Zielina, a person who is not only a musician, who is not only a frontman of a folk rock band, but also he does a lot of interesting things based on cartoons and fairy tales with Slavic accents. Recently you've started creating different stories based on traditional Slavic fairy tales. What is it all about?
I find out that I'm a Slavic person, yeah? And I have no clue what was the Slavic mythology, what was the Slavic religion. So I know Scandinavian mythology, I know a lot about Greek, Celtic and so on, and I have no idea about Slavic mythology. And I said, no, that's wrong. And you know, I've dig into that. So I dig very, very, very deep, and I find out that nobody actually knows what was the Slavic mythology. So I came out with the idea that I'm gonna write about it and read and write about it.
Because we have to mention that we are talking about Polish fairy tales, Polish, Slavic, old-fashioned legends. We are in the realm of, in the land of Polish stories. So you're a storyteller and you are focused on Polish aspect. We are in Poland.
So I make a mix of like making the stories based on actual scientific knowledge. I make music and I make a text.
Own text based on plots?
Fairy tales.
Okay.
Yeah, and with it there's always like scientific article that goes to actual scientific magazine about this, how I made this story, what was the roots, what was the sources, like from folklore. So this is actually scientifically based fairy tale. So it is not like a Tolkien, which is false. My false is true. I make true false, and not false. In this niche, it is quite famous. So whenever I go to Slavic events, because there are a lot of Slavic events, like people are dressing in Slavic dresses, and they talk about Slavic things. They fight on swords. So I come to like a rock star now. Hey, I know you are the guy from the stories. And I know you know me. Slavic languages are very similar. Actually, we as Polish people, we can talk with Russians. If you talk slowly and loudly. So it doesn't work with German people, for example. Polish people sometimes want to talk with other nations like slowly and loudly, and it doesn't work there.
You have been writing your PhD thesis also about Slavic
mythology.
Creatures, about mythology.
Yeah, gods.
What is your topic, and why did you? What's your purpose of writing this? When are you about to finish?
Sex,
and it's gonna be
money, and I like the stories. Women. I like the stories. I always loved this Heracles, Zeus, and I thought, why wouldn't we learn our Polish kids Slavic mythology? Why? Because there is no scientific consensus. Yeah, it is still like magma, and we are not 100% sure. So I wanted to make my, my job to help in this reconstruction.
You also teach kids. So how do you manage to convey the message about Slavic culture? Like, do you teach them at school?
Yeah, we make sacrifices, bloody sacrifices. We kill ox or bull, and we all paint our bodies in.
What do you mean you kill ox or bull? Like
we paint our faces in red blood. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what I do to
But it's a ritual which is like symbolic. Like, of course, you don't do it literally. Like, that is, any animal is harmed.
Are you recording this? Okay. Okay. Let's assume that I answered already. So let's go to the next question, please.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, like we can see that we can have fun, but of course, like when you have those, like you teach them about certain rituals, but of course it's like in a symbolic way, of course, so it's not.
What I do is definitely when I teach music, so I definitely take lots of songs which are from folk songs, especially the young kids like 7 years old. They're open for folk music. As a scientist, I have to say that we are trying to recover the old warrior's rite, which was about putting hand into fire. And you can find like traces of this rite in mythologies of Germanic people, Greek people, Celtic people, so on. And this is putting hand into fire to show that you are so strong, brave, that nothing can defeat you. And in Slavic fairy tale, it is like this. There is a tale, one of the most popular, that a young lad kills the dragon, and then he also saves our little birds, and like huge bird, sunbird, like firebird, finds him, and he's very grateful for saving his children, and he says he'll help young lad to get out of the underworld. And they fly, like he flies on his back like 30 days or something. And the bird says that I'm too weak, I cannot fly anymore, I have to eat something. And the young lad cuts off his hands.
It has a symbolic.
Yeah, this is a rate of passage.
Dimension.
Yeah, so he feeds the bird with his hand, and on the ground, the bird, like when he finds out what's happened, he vomits the hands.
He vomits the hand. Oh my god, it's
and
gross.
This hand is fixed.
Yeah, like it's like a horror movie here. Like
but Slavic horror movie. Slavic fairy tales are great material for horror movies. So guys from US, come on, check out the Slavic culture.
Is it an inspiration?
It's great inspiration, and you can get all the Academy Awards for that. But I don't know if the good ones or the best ones.
Yeah.
So this is symbolic. This is the same symbolic. The firebird is a fire actually in right. This was the fire, and putting his hand into this.
Puts the hand into the beak of the bird.
Yeah. So this is the same symbolism. So I found it as a part of Slavic mythology, and probably this rite of warriors. Yeah, so this is an example what I'm dealing with.
You have a certain theme that you've been developing, and what's the topic, and how do you deal with this? What kind of conclusions are you about to?
This is comparative work. So I compare like all these mythologies and I compare them to Slavic folklore to prove that actually some part of Slavic folklore was derived from ancient Slavic mythology.
Because there are a lot of pagan festivals in Poland, especially in June. Could you give an example of such an event, and what is it like? Yeah,
for example, there's one for whole Poland. There's Stado. We call it. This is actually made from taken from ancient books. And on Stado, people gather, they clap hands, they singing, they make circles, they make serpents like from the bodies. So it is hard. They make sacrifices with bread. There are no bloody sacrifices anymore. So sorry, but these are vegan sacrifices at least. So we make all this stuff to look like it might have looked in Middle Ages or in ancient times.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because it has been like that. It was like that. Exactly the word which you don't like probably, but that or which wasn't liked. Paganism has been cancelled by Christianity, and it had very negative connotations.
Actually, it is not the whole truth, because the church fought very very drastically with paganism.
Was fighting very much with paganism,
but at the same time he incorporates so much from this. That
exactly.
actually, it works like this. That, for example, we have God, noted in like 10th century, which name was Perun, which means thunder, and he was compared to Zeus, who also owns a thunder. And there are lots of stories from 19th century which tell about Saint Elias. Yeah, he was a thunder owner also, who fought with evil and with devil, with thunder. But there's Saint Elias, when you read a Bible, there's nothing about him fighting with thunder. Nothing like this. So it is all taken from mythology of Perun, actually. Probably this Slavic Catholicism is very different. For example, for our US friends, like most of the people in Poland, it's a very popular tradition that we take this koszyk.
The basket?
We take basket, when we put eggs, we paint them, and we go with this to church.
It's very pagan-like.
But this is pagan. This is 100% pagan. When you do it anywhere in Catholic Church, in any other country, the priest will call you devil, and
All right, so let me wrap
brands
it up.
you on the.
The conversation has been very interesting. For sure, we get to know a lot of new things about Slavic culture, which for sure for many people is something new. And let me wrap it up. Like, if you had to list the most important features of Slavic culture and pagan aspects, what would you do? What would you say?
Well, so definitely they believed in thunder, like God that owns thunder and fights with evil. They definitely believed in fertility. I don't think that somebody who hates having children might call himself like a Slavic believer, because this is what like center of culture of Slavic culture was to love, to have a family, have children. They were also warrior-like very much. They have all these rights, warrior rights. They dressed in like berserker. It's like in Scandinavian culture, this berserker. In Slavic also, they dressed in furs to be scary, darken their face, and they was making these rites of warriors. There is also cult of dead people. So we call it Navi Uboże. But this is very, very this tradition, as you know, this is very, very alive. This we actually in Poland, this is very, very strong tradition that we put on graves burning candles. Like, everybody does it, but in Poland it's like an obsession. Like all the city stinks with these candles because there's so much smog in the air. Because this is our obsess.
So one of the most important things nowadays is for sure that we are coming back to the roots, that we're coming back to explore our origins, and we are much more curious about where we come from.
Yeah, it became exotic for Poland. Because
exotic, but at the same time, it's a part of us. So we're, as you said, we're digging into it, we're exploring, and we are much more curious, and we are much more aware of that theme, of that folklore aspect and historical aspect, which is, and let's treat it as an inspiration, as a prompt for exploring much more. And if you're curious about Jakub's activity, we are posting the links down below so that you can access his original works. Thank you very much, Jakub, for the conversation.
Thank you very much.
I hope to see you soon on air, and good luck with everything.
Great pink outfit.
Yes, I am pink. Yes,
I couldn't focus.
Yes, exactly. That was on purpose.
You got me.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know.